What's up, guys? FSC Trucking. All right, we're gonna start a video today. We're gonna go get Orwell loaded today. Orwell's sitting over there ready to go, but we kind of have a little project in the meantime. Let's go ahead and get into the video. I'll explain. Hopefully the camera lens will stay clean. It's raining out right now. So we got the Razor back. When we came back from North Carolina, we stopped by Tennessee, grabbed the Razor, and then came home. So, but the problem with my trailer has always been that we never really tied down, and we never really loaded in enough tie downs to properly tie down a mix of everything. See, when we first got the trailer, we used it to move my parents out of New Jersey to Texas, and we all know how I got repaid for that. But once we got the trailer here, we went to use it to go to Glamorous. We hauled the Razor and my son's Jeep to Glamorous, and the tie down points were non-existent. And the ones that were in the trailer were inefficient. The ones that were in a trailer were incredibly just bad. They weren't really actually tie downs. It just gave you appearance of tie down. You can't tie your 4,000, 5,000 pound Jeep to a piece of plywood and think the 12 self-tappers are gonna hold it. So we actually welded tie downs to the frame, but we measured it out for the Razor and the Jeep, and we were gonna add tie downs later. We never did. You hear Chris back there, he's already starting to cut. He already got started before I even got here today, which is obviously a good thing, but yeah. He got the trailer in for me with his Power Stroke dually, and of course I came to work in the Hemi dually. So let's go ahead and get started on working on this little project, and then we're gonna go ahead and get Orwell loaded today. What's up, everybody? Steve here. Hey, listen, it's been a long time, but they're finally here. FSC Trucking Industrial Work Shirts. They are now available for you on FSCTrucking.com. Link in the description below. Now, a lot of people pre-ordered them. They are now here. At the time of this release, they have been shipped. They are on their way. But we ordered a lot more than just what you guys ordered and pre-ordered, so they are in stock right now. FSCTrucking.com. They go from small all the way up to the big boy 6XL, boys and girls. 6XL. If you're that big, we got a shirt for you. You know it's hard to get clothes. This is where to get them, FSCTrucking.com. Now these are Red Cat brand shirts. They are tough, rugged workwear. Got the FSC logo in the front, FSC Trucking and script in the front right next to the logo as well. Also in the back, big gray logo. Why gray? Because white will look dirty real quick, because these are work shirts. Gray will look better in time as you work with these shirts, boys and girls. These are made to work. These are what we ordered for us. Now I went and ordered 5 for me for here in the shop. Chris got 10 of them. You guys can get yours too. The very same shirts we work with right here in this shop, FSCTrucking.com. Also, Orwell Godfather t-shirts are still available. We have them in stock for you. So go ahead and check them out, FSCTrucking.com. Link in the description below. Get your Orwell Godfather t-shirt. Also, old school logo shirts. Go ahead and check out, see what we got. We got your size, go ahead and scoop them up, because we are going to be pushing the merch game here, boys and girls. All right, so go ahead and check out FSCTrucking.com. Red Cat, FSC Trucking, industrial work shirts for you in stock right now. Chris already got Orwell hooked up to the RGN, ready to go. We're gonna go down to Chilton over to MB, pick up a truck, a blower truck that's going out to, not a blower truck, just the truck tractor part of it, that's going to the Denver airport. So we'll be leaving here probably in about an hour, hour and a half-ish with Orwell ready to go. But I wanted to show you the tie downs that we put into this trailer and how the factory ones were and why we're doing this little job. So we'll go ahead and get into that real quick. Get some coffee in me. We'll be right back shortly.
People are gonna see me not having safety gear.
Oh, you mean you don't have the hazmat suit and the condom on? Now these were the original tie downs to the trailer, the ones in the very back and the ones in the very, very front. This one we added, along with this one and 2 more here in the center. These we added in a center. That one held a Razor, that one held a Jeep. What they did factory was tie the tie down to the steel plate and sandwiched it between the plywood and the cross members. We welded this, both here and up in here. So it's welded to the trailer, but then we made our own that were better. That's the one we made. Welded directly to the frame. There's the bolts holding the bracket down, but the pocket, as I call them, is welded direct to the frame. That's superior and strongest. Now what we got to do is add a couple more. I have 4 more tie downs. I don't know if we're going to do 4 or just 2, but either way, just to see what we do, this is, well, what we do.
That's so hot. Really should put warning labels on this stuff.
Yeah, we don't want the safety police to come over here and yell at me. I mean, we get a lot of comments about, here you're welding in short sleeves and where's your gloves? We don't weld in here every day. It's not a manufacturing facility where we're welding, 8 hours a day.
This is the real world. This is not school.
Right.
Where you know.
If you go to the beach, are you like wearing your full welding suit and all of that? Or are you like, oh, we might get a little sunburn today because the sun's out at the beach. So maybe I got a little sunburn. And
there is safe practices, but then there's the real world. You ever try to wear goggles and work? Or even safety glasses. I can't work with them on all the time. I just can't.
Well, comes down to it. I tried it. Like, I got my glasses on now because I'm drilling and I'm likely to throw crap in my eyes. It's like, oh my God, you threw sparks on Chris when you were grinding. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he was aware of it.
Yeah.
That's just,
I appreciate you telling me that, though. I'll have to look out for that next time.
Yeah, I'll be sure to tell him. Oh, that bitch shot. I mean, yeah, you should work safe, but there's a point where it just gets ridiculous.
The real world.
I've literally had jobs in the Air Force where it's impossible to work safe because it's like, oh, you should do this first. Okay. Well, you know how long it takes to purge a fuel tank with ballistic foam in it? I don't know, probably about 73 years. I literally used to say that in the Air Force. One day I want somebody with some brass on their shoulders to come over here and actually show me how to do my job properly. By actually being there and doing it.
Yeah.
Well, sir, that's not in the book. Well, there's the right way to do it, and then there's the real way to do it.
Yeah, the real world. That's
exactly
what I'm saying. I think it was when we put the wheels on, somebody made some comment. I wanted to answer and say, did you learn that in school? Welcome to the real world.
Yeah. And I try to work, like I said, I try to work safe. And meanwhile, negative comment here, negative comment there. Meanwhile, nobody made a single comment that I actually make you torque the friggin' wheels. And not only was you pulling on the wrench, I was pulling on that big ass wrench.
There was a comment. Somebody did, only one person.
Yeah. But oh no, if you weren't wearing your, hazmat suit to change a tire.
Well,
right.
I did answer that one, but I didn't answer it the way I want.
Yeah, don't lubricate the threads, okay.
I've been doing it for 30 years, and I've never once had a wheel come off. And challenge an impact, it is possible to over torque it, but if you're using a torque wrench, it helps you achieve the correct torque.
Exactly.
We're done.
It's called a calibrated hand, Chris. Once you start knowing where about 500 foot-pounds is, you can get it reasonably close with an impact.
You know.
And then you just finish the rest with the torque.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will tell me I'm drilling these brackets wrong. I don't know, Chris. We'll see if I remember how to drive this. It's been a little while. Well, if you guys didn't catch the video of me and Chris talking about all the work that was done to the truck, when I rolled out to go help Matt and Lydia move down to North Carolina, I left Orwell in the hands of Chris, and he went and took care of a bunch of stuff. He got my windshield squirters to work properly, ripped the whole dash apart, fixed all the couple of wiring issues we had. It was shorting out. Pretty sure we found the problem there. That's Chris and the mouse in his pocket he's got over there.
You were there in spirit.
Yeah, and apparently his mother is the same as my mother, and he dressed us the same today. Oops.
We're twins. People think we're twins.
I brought an extra, just in case. But no, he went and took care of all the wiring issues Orwell had. It was a pretty major short in the dash that was taking out my trailer tail lights. He also replaced the pitman arm in the front of the truck. Not pitman arm, he also replaced the drag link. That's the steering component between the pitman arm and the front steering knuckle. The center link then transfers from side to side when your wheels turn, when you're making a turn. But that drag link is a very pivotal part, and it was loose. It was just wore out, it was old, 40 years old at least, so that got changed out. Got my clutch brake working, which will be a godsend for me. I don't have to head it out and clanging and banging to be getting the gears, putting it in and out of gear when I'm dropping the trailer. Gas leaks. What else did you do?
Dash lights?
Got most of the dash lights working. The ones that can work are working.
They're all working. Some are dim.
Yeah, it's just hard to see in the daytime. Anyways, a myriad of stuff got done. It's the first time in probably 3 weeks or so that I've driven Orwell. But either way, got Orwell in better shape, trailer's in good shape, good to go. So we're on our way to Chilton to go load an MB piece of equipment going to Denver. That steering feels a lot different now with that drag link. A lot of people commented at a slop in the wheel, but with an old system like this, gearbox old, you're gonna move the wheel a little bit more than normal, but I don't know if you can see it in camera, but you can feel more of a positive feel to it. Just that little bit of play does make a world of difference. A while back, right when the YouTube channel started taking off, I did put tie rod ends on it. Me and Matt did. But that's the only real thing I had to do to the front end. So we're loading MB equipment. The tractor portion of a snow removal piece of equipment is going out to the Denver airport. So you probably wonder why we're bringing Chris. Well, Chris does have his CDL, and pretty soon he's going to set himself up with Whitmire so he can drive Orwell and actually go, like if I'm tied up or doing something else or not even here, he can fire up Orwell and go get a load for me and bring it back home or leave it at the yard, whichever. That way he can legally test drive the equipment and so on. And in the end, we're going to be getting more trucks. So it'd be the truck for, well, example, like on this particular load, one unit has 3 trucks. One carries the plow, one carries the trailer, one carries the tractor. So we could have done 2 out of 3 with the step deck, another truck, the double drop, and Orwell, or vice versa, either one. But right now we don't have that option. We don't have another truck running. But Chris has a CDL and a TWIC card. He can get on places where most everybody else can't, and he just has to be qualified through Whitmire. So the game plan is real simple. He'll come with us on a bunch of loads where it's close to home. That way he knows where we pick up and the very specifics of how we tie down very specific trucks. That way it just eliminates the potential for damage. It's not like he doesn't know how to tie down loads. It just, there's a couple of ways to tie down a striker. You might wind up in a jam. And with the valued equipment, it's better just to have the on-the-job training, just to go through the motions, get it done, and have a whirl with it. I wished I had that.
Yeah, I never had it. You just go load something, figure it out as you're doing it. It's kind of nice to have an idea ahead of time.
Exactly.
The floater I showed you all, I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
No clue at all. But I made it.
We have no rear-facing camera today. With the rain, the audio just sounds terrible. All you'll hear is the spray off the tires. And once the microphone gets a little wet, it just goes silly, like you got an inner ear problem. I Jeep been through it.
Yeah.
Well, come on, lady, go. Now we know why the Jeep been through it. You watched Orwell on YouTube, then you work on Orwell. What do you think about riding in them now?
It rides a lot better than what you would think. Look at the short wheelbase, you think it'd be really choppy, but it's really not.
Yeah, everybody, I get it, back in the day you had big long hoods and cab overs, and everyone preferred the hoods for the ride. And then you got guys driving around in Century class Freightliners where the wheel is literally only 1.5 feet farther forward of the driver's seat than than a cab over is. And you got guys saying about the superiority to ride. Meanwhile, the truck barely has a hood, and the wheels are just there rather than here. And I'm like, you're gonna tell me that's a more comfortable ride?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, the cab is on air, but it's not I don't know, I started driving Orwell and thinking about what the old timers was talking about, the horrible cab overs, and I don't know, I mean, it's not like you're riding a 379P on rough roads and having a smooth ride. It's not a 55 Cadillac. Personally, I think it's just people talking and talk. They don't actually, they haven't actually experienced it, and they heard the guys talk about it, but they've never done it, so they're just talking about what they hear rather than, or think, rather than what they know.
I drove some meters though. I mean, you put a Rayco suspension under here, and
oh yeah,
you're gonna know it.
It's got to be different for sure.
I've bounced my head off the ceiling many times crossing the GW up here. But
well, again, you're using the roughest road possible.
right,
That's for
right.
determination.
It wasn't always that bad.
Right. I mean, that literally, that section across Bronx is literally like Peterbilt suspension proving grounds.
Yeah. But my dad drove coast to coast in a single axle Ford cab over.
Yeah.
1969, single axle now.
Oh, you say it all the time. That's when men were men.
When men were men, yeah. Now we're all spoiled. Me, myself included.
See, the rig like you're talking with your dad, this one would have been like the Cadillac.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I looked at these when I was driving, and man, wouldn't that be nice?
Not sure what I did there, but it didn't like it.
Didn't go all the way in. Yeah.
Must not have.
I know that feeling. I've done it.
Now what have we going on up here? Camper pulled over looking at something. He's pulled over. I don't know if the cop's rolling or if he's stationary. Looks like he's rolling. I don't know if there was a crash or the county's busting chops. Coming out of Freedom is 35, then it goes to 45 from back there to the old shop, and it jumps up to 55, but I've seen signs for construction, but I don't come through this way very often anymore. Road closed ahead. 50. Oh. Oh, this is new. Are they having all the trucks go over the Antique Bridge?
Doesn't say no trucks.
Well, the south for the detour for southbound is going that way, which is going over the Antique Bridge, I think. When they wanted to redo the canal here for the canal, the river, and the canals to get around the dams, there's this old lift bridge that, because it's still a navigable waterway, there's a fight between the river authority, the state, and the town of Kakana on who has to repair the bridge, because the U.S. Coast Guard was like, that's a navigable waterway, that bridge is an obstruction, we don't care who fixes it, someone's fixing it. So So after, I don't know, 50 years of it being derelict, like, it was a bridge, but you couldn't raise it no more. I don't think you really had to do much to it other than just test it and put the lights and barriers back up. It used to be, there was no trucks over this bridge. I had that little boat I got off my dad under here. See, well, if we come through here with my boat, they'll have to raise the bridge for us. We'll never fit. But when you pay your money to run through, raise the damn bridge.
Yeah.
As long as you're within the times when the locks are open, so I'm gonna lift the bridge for you. If you look at one of my old, or a few of my old videos, way back in the beginning of the channel, you'll see us getting locked through, I think it's Little Rapids and De Pere locks to go up into Green Bay from the boat ramp in Wrightstown.
How's that work? Is there an attendant there?
Yeah.
Pull up and they open it?
You beep your horn prior to getting there. There's a little procedure to it. But yeah, I think it's three long beeps of the horn, and that tells them that you're coming through, needing to be locked through. And then usually, unless he's busy locking another one through, he'll be right there. A lot of times, if they also keep track of what boats go through, and they'll ask you just for their ease. It's not like it's mandatory if you're off, but they'll ask you when you're going to come back through. So like 4th of July, they go home at midnight or 10 or whatever it is. It's pretty late because they know everyone's coming back from fireworks. So they'll keep track of boats going out, and they'll ask you, are you coming back tonight? So they know after fireworks it's time to head home, and it's considerable ways to get from the fireworks at Green Bay over by that restaurant all the way out through Little Rapids. So they're like, all right, we'll wait for you. But they want to see how many boats are out. But if you're going to stay tonight, they'll ask that. That way they'll know, okay, Jits 2 is not coming back tonight. Go home like normal.
Yeah.
But they'll also, the locks will call ahead to the next lock. They, hey, such and so boat's coming. You should be there in approximate, and give you the rough time. It's real fun. Man, I gotta get my boat fixed. See what I mean? I can make my Hemi louder, or I can make my boat move.
Just go for the boat.
I go for the boat too. I hate this turn right here because you need, especially if there's oncoming traffic, you need both lanes, and people don't realize that. So what we're doing is we're trying to increase our social media presence, both on like Facebook Reels on FSC Trucking's Facebook, and I'm probably going to start posting on X, formerly Twitter. Back up and get Chris now. As my Butterfingers drops my phone and my crushed up water bottle. Who wants to go to Denver? There's Orwell, 1984 Peterbilt. There's the MB truck going to Denver Airport. Come on, let's go. I hate that aspect ratio. That's what all the kids do now. They don't see what's to the left or to the right, but we can see the sky. We can see the grasshopper go way down here. I hate this ratio.
Should I get it centered now?
It's hard, that's why I don't like this ratio. Perfect.
Pretty cool.
That ratio is tough to do. I don't like it, but that's, you know, that's how they do it. Like, it's dumb. But what do I know? I'm the old guy in the new guy's world, they say. All right, so inside we just got the one camera, everything else outside. Yeah, it looks cooler on camera going this way. More twists and turns. Right in front of their main entrance, the trailer hard bottoms over there too. You ever driven a cab over with linkages, cables for shifters rather than leakages?
Yeah. Internationals, I think, is that way. The 9670s.
Which do you like better?
I don't know.
I feel a funny feeling because it's a short throw. You can tell the hinge is not at the floor where it's up high.
Yeah.
I mean, you get used to it, but the trouble with linkage to me is just after a while it gets wobbled out.
Back then I didn't know enough.
Look at this guy.
Yeah. I didn't know enough to know the difference.
Yeah, you just get in a truck and drive it. Wasn't a thing.
I didn't know anything about anything. Until after a few years, I started figuring out working on a truck is not much no different than a car. Just bigger and heavier.
Nowadays, you got these goofy automatics, and the shifter is a turn knob.
Yeah.
Over here on the right side of the steering wheel. I'm like, yeah, that's not trucking.
So I said, you don't have to know anything anymore.
Which is why the industry is in the sad shape it's in right now.
Yeah.
I know it sounds terrible, and people ask me all the time about working for here, and one day we're going to have to hire drivers. But if you can't figure out how to work a manual transmission, or gearbox, they call them in Europe, how am I going to teach you cargo securement to this level, worried about scratching that little piece in the front of a truck, if you can't figure your way through a manual transmission? I don't think I can effectively do that. It's like the transmission in a manual transmission, and I know it sounds terrible. I know a lot of you boys and girls out there drive these, and I get it. It's fine. You got to earn a living. But I just feel if your mind can't function a manual, then you're not going to be able to understand the cargo securement at the level we do it. It's just, if you can't do one, I don't think your brain. I'm not saying if you don't do it, but if you can't do it, there's a difference between won't and can't. You need that in your life. I saw you looking. Chris will be down here in about 3 hours looking for the number.
Not a Hurley guy. They're neat looking, but just not a Hurley guy.
See, I think there's a lot of drivers that drive automatics that can drive a stick. And that's fine. But if you can't drive a stick, like your brain won't let you learn it, you're not ever going to figure cargo securement. And that's where we start having, where a driver would cost me money. That and the fact that we're only going to run old equipment, and old equipment is almost all exclusively standard or manual. That's weird. You still call a manual transmission standard, but the industry standard is now automatic. Again, we're back to right or correct.
There you go, one fully welded pocket. That ain't going nowhere. Hey Chris, I'm gonna clean up and get going here at your leisure where you yank it out. If you could throw a coat of primer and paint on that junk.
Alright.
And then park her outside. We done.